Hi there, welcome to the Fierce Factor podcast. I'm your host, Kaylee Lindholm. And I think it's time for us women to shift the conversation in business and step into our feminine leadership to do the most iconic work the aesthetic industry has ever seen. Each week, I'll be bringing a powerful dose of strategy, sarcasm, solutions, and sass that will rev up your creativity and ignite your brilliance as you link arms with me along our shared path of personal and professional growth in 20 minutes or less. Let's go. Hello, leader. Welcome back to the Fierce Factor podcast. It's your host, Kaylee here, and you are tuning in to episode number 271. We are well into the full swing of summer over here in the Lindholm household. I don't know about you, but what that means for me is travel. A lot of it. In fact, I think I might be gone more than I am home this summer, if I think about it, because I will be on the road with Cooper, my 16-year-old, for lacrosse. He is playing on 2 travel teams. So we've already taken 2 back-to-back trips to Dallas and then Temecula. Next week, we'll be heading to Maryland. It's exciting, don't get me wrong, but anyone who knows what it's like being away from their business for an extended period of time, well, it can definitely stir up some anxiety. And that has certainly been the experience for me as a growth advisor who works very intimately with our clients. Shutting down 15 days a month is pretty anxiety inducing. It's hard to not be there. And it's required me to scrutinize my time and priorities really like never before. I think about this anxiety, entrepreneurial anxiety is a buzzword, is something that we talk about a lot in our academy. And it's just a totally normal vibration. In fact, I've yet to work with a female founder who doesn't experience this, but it's not a red flag. It's a warning sign that we need to slow down and pay attention and to get quiet and curious about what's feeling misaligned. And a lot of times it's just our brain just trying to spin out and predict all of the potentials that could go wrong when in fact everything's really dialed in. So I've really been taking the time to observe my own mind and behavior during this process because it's so easy to want to find a solution or find a reason, right? Or to blame something or someone else for the results of the decisions that we make as leaders. And to be honest, I've noticed my own energy shift in a way that I don't think has served me optimally because I am very clear on the way that I want to show up as a leader. But when I am overwhelmed or stressed or exhausted or just flat out not present, there's no way that I can lead from that state and can be that kind of leader that I aspire to be. I think of leadership as the foundation of all business results. And the primary source to inspire and motivate others is through our energy. And that's why I'm always ruthless about protecting my energy at all costs. And I talk to you about this all of the time. And I'm not talking about just physical energy, like I just ran a marathon and I need to take a nap, but I'm talking about our energetic vibration, like simply asking ourselves, do I feel inspired and empowered when I am doing this thing or with this person or engaging in this activity? Or do I feel drained? I was in fact chatting with my personal trainer a couple weeks ago, and he was telling me that if he completely stepped out of training clients, he'd only miss about 10 to 12 of the 50 or 60 people he currently trains. And I laughed. I was like, which side am I on? I wonder. I thought it was so honest of him to admit this because I think if we all looked at our calendar, there's about 10 to 20% of what we do each week that we'd actually fight to keep on our schedule. So think about it. I literally looked at my calendar that week when we had that conversation and I went in and I highlighted everything that felt energetically fueling for me. So I kind of just gently went through the calendar. I was like, okay, when I see this, how does that make me? I don't know, what's the energy? Like, am I like green light leaning in? Like, wow, I'm excited and energized for that. And it's kind of mind blowing how much time we do spend on tasks that we tell ourselves we need to do because no one else can do them. At least this was the experience for me. I was like, no one else can do that. I have to do that. Or maybe we're working with clients who are emotionally exhausting, or we're putting up with team members who just irritate us, but we can't quite put our finger on why that is. When the truth is, everything's teachable and changeable for that matter. So I kind of think to myself, look, every time I say to myself, no one can do it like me, I remind myself that we humans, we had to learn to walk, for goodness sake. Everything is teachable and learnable. And regardless of the business task, we didn't always know how to do it ourselves. We had to learn how. So if we're honest, we're either just too impatient or we just don't trust the person on the other end enough to pour our time into teaching them how to take over that responsibility. And honestly, there's just all of that chatter in our heads when I think about that, the things that we say to ourselves. And sometimes you have to sit and listen. I appreciate it. I think that when we pay attention to what's going on in our mind, we learn a lot about ourselves, but sometimes I just want to shut it down. I told Cooper recently that I wanted to take a vacation away from my brain, like leave my brain at home. I don't know, maybe you can relate. But I was thinking about, did you ever see that movie, Liar, Liar? So Jim Carrey, he isn't able to tell a lie. He's thinking truth inside of his head and he can't help but blurt it out of his mouth. So imagine walking by someone thinking, what in the world is she wearing? That just has to fly out of your mouth, out loud, blurting it out. This is what we do, right? And this is what I see in coaching so often. We have these hidden truths that occupy so much space inside of our head that we run down our own battery every day by simply putting up with the people, places, and things that we're simply annoyed by or over it, that kind of meh, I'm good. And it's happening and our brain is on overdrive. I just think someone needs to come out and normalize this. Here's the thing, we all do it. And so do our employees. And as business owners, as we advance and take on more responsibility, I think acknowledging this truth becomes not only valuable, but inevitable because there are only so many decisions we can make in a day. And if we are busy burying ourselves in experiences that deplete us or pull us away from our highest level decision-making energy, we are quite literally draining our bank account. Most high-achieving women find this to be a really hard concept to grasp. The idea that slowing down to think creates traction and ultimately leads to compounding growth because scaling sustainably, it's all about creating leverage, meaning one input equals 10 outputs. So I'll use the term sometimes, stop playing checkers and start playing chess. But if you are if I want to get it done right, I just have to do it myself kind of gal, creating leverage through others is going to feel like being unproductive or lazy. And it's certainly not going to bring instant gratification that personally creating that result does. It takes a whole nother level of leadership, shifting your sense of fulfillment from what you are capable of as a provider to what kind of impact you can create as a name brand through others. This is the game. That's it. If you want to build a company, you have to build yourself as a leader. And it's a practice. There is no 10-step formula or certification. Sorry, ladies. There's only understanding of concepts, building your leadership philosophy, defining your core values, and authentically leading others to those standards. Hey, leader. I know the journey to building your greatest potential can feel overwhelming. You're setting big goals, navigating resistance, and trying to stay true to who you are in the process. That's exactly why I created the Fierce Factor Society. This isn't just another membership, it's a launch pad where ambitious women like us come together to grow, lead, and thrive. It's a space to take those big dreams and make them real step by step with the support and tools you need to succeed. If you've ever felt like you were made for more but didn't know exactly which step to take next, the Society is your space to access the tools, strategies, and support to unlock your next level of leadership. Let's do this together. Visit klcconsultants.com/Fierce Factor Society to learn more. Can't wait to see you there. I'm so often asked, how do I become a better leader? And I think this is such a powerful and also powerfully personal question, similar to how do I build a better business? Or how do I find a better boyfriend? How do I create a better life? We often have trouble showing up as the best version of ourselves as leaders because we haven't clearly defined what ideal leadership actually is for us personally. And many of us have never had great leadership role models, so we don't even know what that looks like. If you're looking to become a better leader, you might ask yourself, what kind of leader would make me want to follow them? For me, it's someone who is clear on their vision, someone who upholds high standards and holds everyone equally accountable to them, someone who inspires me to see what's possible, someone who challenges me to do better, someone who recognizes my strengths, calls them out, notices that I'm doing excellent work, even when I don't tell them or no one else does. A great leader is honest and vulnerable when things aren't perfect, is confident enough to share a moment of weakness, and also to present the path to overcome that challenge. Someone who allows me to fail forward and provides a safety net to catch me and then helps me get back up and learn from my mistake. Someone who shows up with a smile, has high energy most of the time. Someone who has infectious charisma, is witty, laughs a lot, and doesn't take life too seriously. I want to work my ass off for someone who is equally invested in developing me. So if I want to become a better leader, I've got my scorecard right here. So I'll ask myself, am I clear on my vision? Do I set and communicate the highest standards and hold everyone accountable to them? Do I inspire others to see what's possible for them? And I can continue down the list. Maybe I'll rank myself on a scale of 1 to 10 and make a goal each month to improve in one area. I'll work with my coach. I'll read books. I'll try some new things with my team members. It's not really that complicated. It just takes intentionality. Now, here's where people get it twisted. We often expect others around us to be just like us. But the reality is, if they were, then they'd own their own company, be building their own team, and not have the opportunity to build and lead and create what we have with full control over our own destiny. We have to learn to understand what drives others. In fact, we've created a whole team training that we offer at KLC called the Great Culture Reset. In this training, we conduct a survey uncovering love language, key drivers, personality types, and areas of interest and growth goals of each employee. This helps our clients understand how to best enroll each team member into their vision. Because listen, ultimately, leadership is getting the people around you to want to work toward accomplishing your vision for their own reason. And the ultimate flex is building a team whose vision is aligned with yours. And trust me, goddess, believe it or not, this is actually easier than you think. But it just requires calling out your expectations and creating extreme clarity around your mission, which is the promise you're making to your customers, the vision, which is the goal of the business, and your values, the standards by which you operate and hire. If you are running a business and are not clear on these, this is the first place to start. I actually have a 3-part virtual training available to handhold you through this process. It's called our Happy Hour Masterclass Bundle. It's a bundle of the foundational core things you need to know about building your business. You can get that in there. I'll link that up in the show notes. But this is just the foundational work that we have to do. We do this both in our 6-week Confidence to Scale program and also in our flagship Pop Leadership Academy. It is the nucleus of a business. My ask of you this week is to stop trying to look outside of yourself for new tactics and frameworks and methods. There isn't a book out there that can define what great leadership looks like for you. It's inside of you. You just need to have the guts to slow down and start building with intention. And listen, if you need a coach, get the help. I know I certainly haven't been able to do it alone, but this work is non-negotiable for me in building a company to $10 million annual revenue. This is going to take crystal clear clarity on the standards, the goal, and the results that I expect, and growing each and every day into the kind of leader who is capable of holding that kind of success without sacrificing my own personal definition of wealth, health, impact, and freedom. And that's the beauty of building a life first business. So if you're looking to become a better leader, start by becoming better at the things that you define as great leadership. And I'll bet you start to find yourself experiencing different kind of results in your business and life and out of the people around you. Okay, leader, thanks for tuning in this week. And P.S., if you are a listener over here and haven't joined the Fierce Factor Society, This is where we are doing the work. This is not a community. This is a full-fledged coaching program with masterclasses, coaching, book recommendations, and weekly personal and professional growth assignments that will guide you step by step toward becoming a more confident and well-directioned leader, regardless of your title, by the way. So you can learn more and sign up for $97 with no annual commitment. Just come try it out at klcconsultants.com/Fierce Factor Society. I'll link up in the show notes for you. I will see you over there and can't wait to chat with you. Same place, same time next week. Listen, leader, if you're vibing with me here, hang tight because I have a brand new resource for you. You are a successful, confident, powerful woman who just isn't into being average. No, you have a calling, and part of that calling is requiring you to level up. And I know that if you're working to cross the next $1 million milestone in your business, you need to be in the right circles. And perhaps that's why you found us. I'd love to invite you to join The Blueprint, a weekly resource for inspired, provocative thinkers who are taking this conversation to the next level. Get access to free business tools, podcast supplements, guideposts, and direct communication with me and my expert team. And of course, a masterfully curated circle of women making big moves and disrupting the status quo in aesthetics and wellness. You can link directly through the show notes or head to klcconsultants.com/blueprint. It's time to elevate. See you there, goddess.